friends, how's everybody doing? Today is Monday, May 25th, 2026. My name is Andrew, this is my dog Winston, and you are back for another video from the Runner Stitcher. This is my channel where I talk mostly about cross stitch, a little bit about running, and also some walking that I do as well. So Winston clearly wants to be in the shot today. He wants to take over the video, get some loving at the very beginning. But no, thank you so much for joining me. If you are a new subscriber, thank you. Thanks for the kisses in the ear, Winston. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you really enjoy the projects that you see, and you'll stick around to see what we get up to and join me on this cross-stitch journey. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending a little bit more time with me. I really do appreciate it. This has been a really great week for me since we last spoke on a Flosstube episode, and you know, I'm filming this on Monday night for the reason that tomorrow is my first day of work. So I will be starting my new job tomorrow, and I am really excited, also a little anxious, you know, just all the things that come with starting a new job, but I'm sure it will go well. So luckily it's only a 4-day week this week. So easing back into it, but I am really excited. I just, you know, kind of am figuring out a new filming schedule. So I'm filming Monday night tonight. I will be hopefully getting this edited and posted like normal on Tuesday, so you can see it on the normal day, but we'll kind of figure out the schedule as we go forward. But yeah, it's been an exciting week of just kind of enjoying the last few days of not having to work and sort of anticipating what the new work week will look like for me in the new routine. So been a very good week. I hope you all have had a good week as well. I know you've had some hot weather overseas in the UK, and here, at least in New York, it's been a really rainy, gloomy Memorial Day weekend. Finally, this afternoon, you can kind of see it from the windows, the light coming in. The sun is finally coming out after all weekend of rain. So happy to see the sun, happy to be getting some more summer-like weather for the final days of this holiday weekend. So I don't really have too much to share here at the beginning, so we'll just jump right into what I've got, and then we'll get into the stitching. I do have a lot of projects to share with you this week, so I'm kind of excited to share my progress. So as you know, for the month of May, I've been highlighting a silk from the company Silks For You, and I should have a link somewhere here to their Etsy page as well, but I've been highlighting a different silky tweak just to kind of show you the broad range of silks that they have. And I went through my stash and I found another hank that I had purchased. This is probably like 2 or 3 years ago at this point, and I thought this is the one I want to share today. So today it is PR180. Again, this is Silks For You. And I have the silk with me, so I don't have to pop in a picture, but here is PR180. Now this is my two favorite colors, blue and orange. I think over the years I've come to the conclusion that those two are my favorite colors for sure. And when I saw this silk, I just knew I had to have it. So I'm going to try to hold it up here closer so you can see the beautiful teals that are in this, and then kind of the variegation that happens into these beautiful oranges. But I love this. I haven't found a project yet for it, so if you have any ideas, let me know. But this is how the Silks For You hank comes, and then I typically just kind of cut it at both ends where I want to cut it for the variegation to happen. And yeah, if you have a project that you think this might be good for, definitely let me know. But I'm sure we'll find something. So again, this is Silks For You, PR180. I hope you enjoyed that little highlight of their company this month, and maybe purchase some silks of your own. If you haven't stitched with silk before, they are really, really lovely to stitch with, and the price is pretty reasonable. You get a lot of silk in one of these hanks, so you can really do a pretty large project. For reference, SAGA, which I'll show here in a little bit with another Silks For You silk, that one, I think I'm only going to need one hank of silk to do all of SAGA on a 36 count. Now, I did purchase 2 hanks when I started SAGA just because I really didn't want to run out and have the die-lot be different. So I do have a backup just in case, and I'll keep you posted as I get further on that project. But that just goes to show that you can really get a lot of stitching in with one of these. Definitely probably any other long dog, because SAGA is the largest, so any other long dog piece would work great with these. So anyway, this is the Silks For You for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. And the only other thing I wanted to say before I get into my stitching is I did post another walk this week. So we've got a new walk on the chart for hashtag Whip Into Shape Walking Edition. And this time I did a walk of Prospect Park. That's where I had to pick up my race bib anyway, so I was already there. The park is so beautiful, and I really just wanted to share that with you. So it's up for viewing on the other channel, Andrew in Stride, and definitely check it out if you want something to have on in the background while you're stitching. And if you're joining in with the challenge, definitely check it out. Unfortunately, I did not get out Elizabeth Masterton again this week, so I think I'm stuck back at walk number 21, maybe 21 or 22, and kind of getting behind. But that's okay. It's made great progress on Elizabeth Masterton so far that I wouldn't have had anyways, and so I'm really happy with it. But with Mania going on and just sort of everything else that I have been doing lately, that's the piece that just didn't kind of make it into the rotation. So we'll see. Hopefully I will get back into that. I also don't know exactly what's going to happen with the walks now that I will be working, 4 days a week in the office. So I'm hoping I will still have time to maybe record one walk a week, and that will kind of be the cadence that I'll do. That's my goal, but obviously I want to still have stitchy time. And since commuting to the office and everything will take up more stitchy time, we'll just see how it all goes. It might be that I come to you next Tuesday and hardly have anything to show, which would be okay too. It's not a race, and I'm just navigating through this new schedule. So hopefully we'll have one walk a week and some stitching to show as well. I do have another walk that I already filmed, which is a neighborhood in Brooklyn called Park Slope. It's a really beautiful neighborhood, lots of brownstones. It's a lovely street to kind of walk down, and then it's got some vibrant shops, and there were a number of people walking that day, which was exciting. So that one is coming. I'm almost about ready to get that posted, so within the next week that will be up as well. But I hope you're just enjoying the challenge, and I hope it's getting some stitching for you on whatever piece you chose to work on. Okay, I think that's all the announcements that I had to share. There's not a whole lot going on here other than just getting ready for the new routine, new job. So let's just jump right into the stitching before I keep repeating myself too many times. The first project I have to share with you is SAGA. This is from Long Dog Samplers. Here is what this is going to look like. This is a piece I work on every single week, so you've seen it a number of times, and I'm super excited to get it back out and show you a little bit more. So I will put a video in here of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for SAGA for the week. I will be finishing this right in through here, and then I think I'll start on the top part of this arch and work my way over that direction. So you will see it now. And this week I was able to add in 559 stitches, putting me at 65.53%. So I did cross the 65% mark. Here is what this piece looks like as a whole. Hopefully you can see everything in the camera, squeezing it all in. And this is stitched on a 36 count vintage country mocha, like I said earlier, and this is using the Silks for You PR207. So let's zoom in a little bit here and just show you what I completed. And you'll see that this arch is now fully complete. So I think I did all the stitching sort of back here on this giraffe's leg. And once that was completed, I jumped right up here and started working on the top of the arch. So kind of bringing this up to the center point. And I like to sort of complete the arches all the way first before I work in the motifs in the center. So that's what I'll continue doing there. But yeah, let's just look at this beautiful arch with these giraffes in their wedlock. I love it. I hope you do too. And yeah, SAGA will keep coming out. So this will have another goal this week to keep stitching another 550 stitches. So that is SAGA from Long Dog Samplers. Okay, next up we have my mystery stitch, which is the piece, it's a full coverage piece that I have decided to make a mystery for you. So I'm not sharing the name of the title or the design or anything like that, but it's a piece that I'll let you kind of see progress as I stitch along on it, and you can guess along as I get further in the motif. So I will put a video in here of where I was when I started this week. Okay, here's the starting point for the mystery piece this week. I will be working through the rest of those grays and getting down into the yellow again. You'll see how far I get now. Okay, and this week I was able to add in 620 stitches, putting me at 0.48%. So we are nearing 0.5% now. We're getting there, guys. But here is where I got to this week. So you will really start seeing this motif coming through, and I think it's looking really great. I was able to get all the way down to this to the bottom of this diagonal right here. So I think in my last Stitch With Me video, I hadn't fully gotten to the bottom of that, but I was able to work on that and kind of bring it all the way down to the bottom of the frame here. for that diagonal. So next time we pull this out next week, I'll start back up at the top, and we should get into some more fun things with the next diagonal. So I'm really excited to keep stitching along with this one. This is stitched on a 25 count pre-gridded Lugana, and I'm using all the called for DMC. I'm using one strand of DMC over one even weave thread. Now, as this piece has progressed, you really have been guessing, and your guesses are getting good. So if there's anyone who doesn't want to know what this is, let me know, because I'm deciding, like, once I get so far that some of the guesses are coming in and they're correct, if I should just say it on my on my Flosstube to let you know what the motif is, so you know kind of what I'm stitching on. So let me know what you think. Do you want to hear what it is that I'm stitching that you're seeing right here, or would you rather just continue to be surprised? As the new motifs come in, I'm going to keep that a surprise until, you know, we get far enough to actually see what it is. But I've really been enjoying this piece. It's one that I just constantly want to keep getting back to, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. So that is the mystery stitch for this week. All right, the next piece I worked on was the round robin that I'm doing with Jason from Jason X Stitches, Sheldon from Sheldon In Stitches, and Yoshi, the cross stitch guy. And we are doing where we each picked a piece and we're all going to stitch a quarter of that piece. So I currently have Jason's piece, and he chose Half the Fun from Ink Circles. I'll try to put a picture up here of what that looks like since I don't have the pattern cover with me, but that's what it's going to look like. And I'm really excited to share that this time I was actually able to get my quadrant completed. So here is what this piece looks like now that we have half the fun of Half the Fun completed. So half the fun is over. But here's what this looks like. So my quadrant was this one up here at the top. So the 4 colors that I put into the piece were this blue right here, this orange up here, this helicopter is this purpley color that sort of blends in with the brown, but it's just enough to kind of stand out. And then up here, of course, I had to use the Silks For You from SAGA because I absolutely love that. So those are the 4 colors I added. Here's what the piece looks like so far. I think it's looking really great. This is stitched on a 36 count. I'm not sure what linen this is, but a 36 count that's super easy to see. We're using 1 strand of DMC over 2 linen threads, and I think that's what made it go so quickly. I asked Jason how many stitches were in this piece, and roughly there were about 1,500 stitches just in my quadrant. So really within the last 2 weeks, like since midsummer, I've been able to stitch 1,500 stitches on this piece, and it's now complete. So the next time you will see this piece, it will be on Yoshi's channel, Yoshi the cross stitch guy, and so this will get off in the mail to him very soon, and he'll see some more progress, and eventually we'll get back to Jason, and Jason will share more about it on his page too. But this was just really fun to stitch. I'll kind of do a little close up here so you can see all the stitching. I think it looks really great, and it was really fun. The thing I really liked about Ink Circles is each little motif that you finish really felt like a win, and I think that's why I just kept going on it, because I thought, oh, I can just stitch this little car, or oh, I can just stitch this little bicycle, you know, I can just finish this little one. And then suddenly the piece was done, and I kept thinking, oh, I guess I finished it. So this would technically be a finish for now. It is a finish for me, but a finish for now because I will be passing this on to the next person. So that is half the fun. The next piece I worked on is I then switched into my Mania stitching. So for Mania 500, I told you last week, the first project up on the list was Feasting Frenzy. I'll put a picture up here because I left the chart over there, but this is a dimensions kit. So I'm using all the kit materials. I believe it's an 18 count Aida and all of the kit floss and everything that came with it. I will also put a video in here of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Feasting Frenzy. I think the first thing I'm going to do is there is a little robin that sits over here, so I think I'm going to work on that robin. I'll probably try to do the full bird and the back stitching, and then maybe I'll come over here and sort of build this out a little further on that side, but you will see it now. And as you know, this piece was called not only for the 500 stitches for Mania, but I also had a little extra stitching to do for my Patreon members, as some of them voted on this one to add extra stitches in for the month of May. So in total, I think I had about 680 stitches to put into this piece, and I actually did about 768, and that doesn't include the back stitching that I did. So I'm really excited to share what I got done. So here we are now. This is what Feasting Frenzy is looking like. And you'll notice the two new birds are this one right here, this red bird, and then also this robin. So I wasn't really sure where I was going to start stitching, but then when I saw that the robin was close enough that I could actually get to it and stitch on it, I thought, how perfect, because I've been seeing so many robins around the area since it's spring here, and they're back out, and it was just so fun. So I thought, I have to stitch the robin. It's the season. So let's do a little close-up on the robin. The robin is fully completed, so all the back stitching is done, including his cute little feet there. And there's a French knot for his eye, which I think looks pretty good. And yeah, the robin is fully done. Now this bird over here was the next one I did, and I did as much back stitching as I could, but because this part of the bird actually touches the birdhouse, I wasn't able to fully complete the back stitching there because I will need to do other stitches before I get to that point. So yeah, those are the two new birds, and the stitching just for those two birds was the 768 stitches. And then once I knew I was over my limit already, I didn't keep counting the back stitching. So whatever back stitching was added was just kind of on top of that number. But I was super happy to make a little bit more progress on this. This is kind of another piece that I'm like the one I was just talking about, where each bird really feels like a win. So I felt like I had 2 wins on this piece, and that was really nice. There are still about 10 or 12 different birds to go on this piece, so I'm not nearing a finish. I think I'm coming up on just about the 25% mark. This is in markup, but it's not really that accurate, so I don't use it for everything, but I think I'm about 25% through the piece. So there's still a lot of stitching to go on this, but I really do love how it's looking so far. I'm loving the colors of the birdhouse, and I just can't wait to make more progress on this. I don't know when it will come back out, but we'll see. It will eventually get its time in the sun again. I also will say that all of the backstitching I did, I got to do on a Zoom call with some of my Patreon members. And that was so much fun because sometimes I'm in the mood for backstitching, sometimes I'm not, but doing backstitching when you're with friends on a stitching Zoom was just made it so much better. You know, I wasn't focused on the chore at hand necessarily. I was just focused on having a good time with them. And yeah, all of that backstitching for both those birds was done on that call with them. So that was a really great time. So thank you to all of you who were on that call and saw me through that. All right, and then the next piece on the list for Mania 500 was one that you have not seen in a long time. And I was actually a little nervous to get back to it, but excited. I always have to be in the right mood for this piece, and I wasn't necessarily the first day, but then I found a rhythm and just sort of really enjoyed it. So the piece I'm talking about is Black Roses, and this is a piece from Embroidery. Here's what this is going to look like. It is a very large piece, so it's about 33,000 stitches, and I decided to make it even harder by stitching it all in beads. So that is what I'm doing with this piece. So I'll put a video in here of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Black Roses. I really don't know where I'm going to be working. Maybe I'll bring this down a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly where I'll be working, but you will see it soon. And I'm happy to say I was able to complete the Mania goal. I finished that this morning by adding 507 beads, and that puts me at 7.63% on this piece. Now I do have this on a scroll frame, and now that I'm about halfway through the piece, I'm not really sure why I got such a big piece of fabric or why I got such a big scroll frame for this one, but I did. So here is the piece. I think right here we are about the halfway mark. So you know, it will come over to about here or so, but it would not have needed this large of a piece of fabric. But here is what I worked on. So the big thing you'll notice is I started a little bit of the castle right in through here. So all of those beads are new from the castle right there. And then I also completed this stem right through here. That wasn't done before, so that is now finished. And that means all of the roses and the vines on this side of the castle are completed. So there's more on the bottom, obviously, but in the top section, that's all the roses and vines, which actually feels really good. It was so fun to get into the castle part. I really love how this is looking so far. I will say, I think this is a 32 count even weave that I'm stitching on. And I thought this might happen, but the beads, when they are in a straight line vertically, they are getting very tight. And I think it's actually going to get to the point where I'm going to have to skip a bead when there's really, really long straight lines, which in this castle, there are a lot of really long straight lines. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm already sort of running into that a little bit in those straight lines right there, where they're just kind of not lining up exactly because the beads are bigger than the space where the bead should go on the fabric. So I'm gonna have to play around with that as I go and kind of figure it out. I'm nervous to skip a bead or skip a stitch because I'm nervous how that's gonna affect everything else, or at least my counting. So I'm gonna be very careful when I pull this out next time and keep stitching. The other thing is, you probably won't notice, but this section right through here, this little flower right here, this little stem, is too close to this rose right here. So it's supposed to be one more over in this direction, just one stitch. I decided to just fudge it and let it go because no one is ever gonna know. And I had a lot of beads in there and I didn't really want to take them out. I had counted wrong somewhere right here at the very top. I was supposed to do 3 in a row. Instead, I only did 2 in a row. So it was my error. But like Jacob said, from what we learned in his pieces, you know, it's okay to make errors and kind of make them yours. And no piece is going to be perfect. So I decided to just fudge it and let it go. And I think it looks really good. So like I said, this is a 32 count even weave. I'm using the Delica beads and I'm using 2 colors. I forget the numbers of the colors, but it's basically a black, and then the other color, hopefully you can see it in these roses here. It's like a really dark metallic-y purple color. A few teals in there as well, but hopefully that's coming across in the camera and in the light here. You can just see a little bit of the different color of those beads. In person, when the sun or the light hits those colors, they really do shine and it looks beautiful. So I'm really happy with the subtlety of it because you don't really notice it until the light hits, because from far away it just all looks like one color. And then you get up close or the light hits it a certain way and you see this little shine of like a purpley metallic color come through, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. So yeah, so 507 beads. It took me a little while because it does take longer to do beads, and I am using the Nymo invisible thread, and so that's not the easiest to work with, although it's probably my favorite of the invisible threads. I tend to use Nymo for almost all of the beading I do, except for mill hill kits. But yeah, it is a slower process, and so I'm really, really happy to have that Mania 500 goal complete. So that is Black Roses from Owl Forest Embroidery. Okay, and then once I finished that one, I thought, I think I can actually finish the next Mania 500 before I film. So I kind of rushed today, not rushed, but I kind of chose this piece. Well, it was next on the list, but I kind of chose the area to work on and so that I could get the most stitches in and kind of get these 500 stitches in before I filmed. And the piece I'm talking about is this needlepoint kit from Bucilla. This is called Heirloom Bear, and here's what this is going to look like in the end. This is my only needlepoint kit that's on the go. But I do have, I think, 2 or 3 other kits sort of waiting in the wings for me to get to. It is something that I really enjoy working on when I pull it out and put some stitches in, but it's not something that I pull out all the time. It's kind of when I want some easier stitching that I get to this. But I'll pop a little video in here of where I was when I started. Okay, hopefully you can see here well enough where my starting point is for my needlepoint kit. I'm going to try to put in 500 stitches, and what I'm going to work on is this top section right up here. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit and then carry it over, because I think that will be fairly easy stitching and I might be able to squeeze it in before I film today. So you'll see it now. And I did sort of map this out so that I was able to get in the 500 stitches. So I will show you where that is. But here is where I got to. So this section that I did was starting right here at the edge of the tan. And then I brought that all the way over here and kind of brought it down a little bit there as well. So you can see working just in the background, doing a lot of those, you know, wallpaper stitches, but got a lot done. I was happy with that, and it was kind of a quick way to get to the 500 stitches. I'm still obviously a long way from completing this, but this sort of corner is where I started and where I'm working on. Hopefully the next time I get this out, I will actually jump into the bear, because I've started a little bit of the colors in his ears right here, but I would love to get some more of those browns in for the bear because I think he's going to look really, really cute. And this is one I'm just having fun with. I have no idea what I'll do with it once it's completed, but I'm just enjoying the process of learning needlepoint and kind of exploring that. So I'm happy to keep working on it as it's called for things. But this is Heirloom Bear from Bucilla. All right, and that's all my stitching for the week. Honestly, I did not expect to get that much completed. I knew this was going to be kind of a different week for me with everything going on and just preparing for the new job. And so I'm really happy I was still able to get in that many stitches. I guarantee you there will not be that many stitches next week as I start my new job tomorrow. So bear with me as we figure out how many stitches I'll be able to get in a week. I think I will also have to sort of just rearrange my plans. I'm going to continue with Mania. Obviously, we're only a week left. So that jumping into plans, that is going to be my plans for the next week. I'll keep working through the list. And actually, there's only one more whip on the list, and that is Gaia, the Earth Goddess. So Gaia will definitely get 500 stitches this week. And actually, this was another piece that my Patreon members voted to have some additional stitches added in. So there will be another 220 stitches added to that. So she will have a total of 720 stitches, which I'm super excited for. I'm really happy to get back to her. And that's the last one on the list. I'll also work on SAGA during the week and put in the 550 stitches for SAGA. Once I finish those two pieces, I think I will either maybe choose the next Mania piece to be Elizabeth Masterton so that I can work on it for WhipGo as well, because I might not get to that in the month of May. Or maybe I'll just spin the wheel and kind of see what I'm feeling and what I want to add 500 stitches into. The other thing this week is I think I'm going to have a new start tomorrow. I think when I get back from work, I'm going to sit down and finally start Little Acorns by Modern Folk Embroidery. I shared sort of what I had kitted up for it last week, and I think it'd be great to have a new start on my first day of work and just to commemorate this new chapter and new season of my life. So that will be coming soon. And yeah, other than that, I think plans might have to go out the window. Once May is over and I see sort of the schedule of my job, I'll be able to decide if I can bring back temperature stitching or not. I really would like to do it. I just don't know if I'm going to have as much stitchy time to complete those goals each week. So we'll see, but I'll keep you posted on that. And if not, we'll find something else fun to do and to kind of keep my stitching going forward. And I think that's all I've got for you this week. So I'm going to keep this on the shorter side and let you get on to your next Flosstube. But thank you so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me to see what I've been up to. I hope you enjoyed the updates on the project. And I do hope to film another Stitch With Me video probably this coming weekend. So stay tuned for that if you're interested, and we'll get a little further on the full coverage piece. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed your holiday weekend if you had an extra day off and just got to spend it with friends and family or lots of stitching. And I hope you enjoy your shorter work week if you're working. I'm glad we only have 4 days. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. And I just want to remind you to keep running if you're a runner, always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now, until the next stitch.